Good afternoon YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today folks, I'm in Oban and I'm heading up the coast towards Connel Bridge. I'm going to stop at Dunstaffnage, have a look at the little castle there. Then we're going to head across country towards Loch Awe. It's really quite stunning, so stay tuned. Now folks, you might be wondering exactly where I am because it looks a little bit unusual, but this is a place called McCaig's Tower in Oban. And it was commissioned in 1897 by a local banker, John McCaig. And the idea was to give local stonemasons work during the winter months. But it was also supposed to be a museum and a mausoleum for the McCaig family. Obviously the man had a little bit too much money. So it was built in a kind of Roman amphitheatre style. But the work was never completed because McCaig died in 1902. So the walls were completed, but the mausoleum and the museum were never built. I really like Oban. It's very popular for bikers in actual fact, and that's because the coastal route here is stunning. It's a great place to ride. Another voiceover today guys, because I'm still having a little bit of technical difficulty with my GoPro mic. It's a little bit windy today, but apart from that it's an absolutely stunning day. The next stop is Dunstaffnage Castle. It's only maybe 3 miles up the coast from Oban. This is Dunstaffnage Castle folks, and it's only maybe 3.5 miles north of Oban. Now there's another castle in Oban, but of course there's castles everywhere in this area. However, this one was built in 1220 by the MacDougals, and it was put under siege in 1308 and captured by Robert the Bruce. Now these days the castle still belongs to the Campbells. It was actually gifted to them in 1470 by James III. And probably the last sort of most famous resident here was Flora MacDonald. She was imprisoned here in 1746 after helping Bonnie Prince Charlie to escape. Really windy today, I need to be really careful with the drone. It's fair to say that this castle is in remarkably good condition considering it was built in 1220. And you can actually go inside here. There's a small entrance fee at the sort of ticket office. A ticket office and a shop here. You can go inside if you want to have a closer look. There's a chapel and stuff inside as well. Anyway, let's get back on the bike and head to Loch Awe.
Everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up. If you cross Connel Bridge from here guys, it takes you up the west coast towards Fort William. But today I'm passing underneath the bridge and heading towards Loch Awe. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration, and if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
You might recall when we were back in Oban I mentioned that this route is incredibly popular with bikers, but it's easy to see why. Every couple of minutes you'll be buzzing past people. As usual, the Himalayan is running like a dream, although it is time for a couple of maintenance jobs to be done. It needs a new set of sprockets and a new chain, but it also needs a new set of brake pads. But of course, as always, I'll make a couple of videos when I replace those parts. As we pass the head of Loch Awe, there's a couple of glens dead ahead. On the left we've got Glen Orchy and on the right we've got Glen Lochy. If we stay on this road it takes us through Dalmally, through Glen Lochy and spits us out at the Green Welly stop in Tundrum. Again, that's another mecca for bikers. Guys, this absolute beast of a building is Kilchurn Castle, and it stands on the banks of Loch Awe. Loch Awe is the third largest freshwater loch in Scotland. So guys, this mighty fortress was built in the mid 1400s by the Campbells of Glen Orchy. The Campbells held this castle for about 150 years, but after the initial Jacobite uprising in 1689, it was garrisoned by over 200 redcoats. And that garrison was over 200 soldiers strong. And that was in order to try and control the central Highlands here. Now, because of that, these barracks are actually the oldest surviving barracks in the British mainland. Oh, it's wild wind. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, because of its geographic location, surrounded by mountains here, and because of how it looks, it's one of the most photographed castles in the whole of Scotland. It's absolutely stunning. So folks, if you look over my left shoulder here, this is Ben Cruachan. Now, my uncle used to work on top of this mountain here. He was a tunnel tiger when they were building the Ben Cruachan power station. There was over 4,000 men involved in that, building this power station up here. It's a hydroelectric power station. But the conditions were absolutely brutal. You know, this part of the world is particularly unforgiving during the winter time. But, you know, during the tunnelling process, 36 men died, you know, during that initial sort of build phase. A lot more of them died from conditions like emphysema. Not to mention, most of them were left deaf or partially deaf, just due to the sheer noise. Look at this. Now, I've got absolutely no doubt that the vast majority of people have heard of the Loch Ness Monster, but far fewer people have heard of the Loch Awe Monster. Now, in the 1600s, there was several sightings of a monster in this loch. People said it was eel-like. You know, it looked like an eel, but it was over 100 feet long, and it had the girth of a horse. Needless to say, the fishermen and the local villagers were absolutely terrified. There's also been an unbelievable number of people who have had paranormal experiences in this castle. Anything from, you know, a lady tapping them in the shoulder saying, "Free me," you know, to children giggling, people walking on the boards above them. All really quite terrifying. I mean, that's it for this one, guys. I really hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below. Maybe even hit that notification bell so you know the next time I upload a video to YouTube. Want to watch another vlog or an install? Have a look at one of these here. I'll see you in the next one.
day.